Today I'll be talking about some of the latest features to come out for Microsoft Teams, with a look forward to a new set of features that make up Microsoft Teams Premium, available later this quarter. Topics of discussion for today's webinar include a brief overview of Teams for those of you who may not be familiar with it, meeting, call, and chat features, participant management, ease of use changes, and the aforementioned Teams Premium licenses. While I'll be focusing on the desktop application today, many of these same features are also available in the web and mobile applications as well. So, in short, what is Teams? Teams is a messaging app for your organization with desktop, web, and mobile interfaces. Teams provides a workspace that supports real-time collaboration with other users via instant messaging or voice calls, file and application sharing, and meetings that can be scheduled in advance or ad hoc. In most cases, if you already have a Microsoft 365 license, you are already licensed for Teams. So let's start off with meeting, call, and chat features. If you're like me, your Teams sidebar is littered with conversations with other users, channels, and meetings. Rather than searching for an often used conversation, you can use the new Pin a Message in Chat feature. This lets you select any chat session, pin it, and have it always available at the top of your session list. Chat filters help out if you find that you do need to search for a conversation, maybe so you can pin it for later access. At the top of the chat list is a filter button that allows you to narrow your focus to a specific person or meeting. Alternatively, you can select from a predetermined list of options like chats, unread items, meetings, and more. Sometimes a phone call or instant message just aren't enough to get your message across. Maybe a video chat would be ideal, but you or your recipient just can't connect. So instead, you can create and send a short video clip in chat, up to a minute long. After you record the video clip, you'll have an opportunity to edit the clip or send it straight away. The recipient can reply with a message or video clip of their own. Like the chat filter I mentioned just a moment ago, you can also filter your activity section with the appropriately named activity filter. You can select this filter to easily show your unread messages, when you were mentioned in a conversation, or restrict it to show missed calls or voicemails. Call history has gotten a little boost in usefulness. Now when you go to calls and select a call under the history section, you'll be able to see a recap of the call, including, if available, a recording and transcript of that call. If you're a meeting organizer, you can automatically have transcription of your meeting happen as soon as you turn on record. If you regularly transcribe meetings, this is a fantastic option so that you don't forget to do so. Naturally, you can also disable this feature if transcription isn't something you make use of, or only need it in certain cases. Please note, this feature needs to be turned on by your administrator for it to function for you. Not just for PowerPoint, Speaker Coach has now come to Teams. Speaker Coach lets you practice your speaking and presentation skills and provides personalized, private feedback with suggestions on how to improve your speaking. The post-meeting results show up in the activity section of Teams. Now, this is a feature best suited for a meeting with a single presenter or speaker, but I leave it turned on all the time so that I don't forget to turn it on when I really want to have it. If you work with users in different time zones, or simply want to send a message later, you can now send a message to arrive at a specific time. This is similar to the delayed message feature in Outlook. I find this handy if someone is in a scheduled meeting and I don't want to disturb them, but I want my message to come across right when their message or their meeting is scheduled to end. So we'll get to some demonstration items a bit later on, but one of the things that cannot be replicated in my virtual demo environment is a microphone, and therefore Speaker Coach does not work. So to give you an idea of what a post-meeting Speaker Coach Insight report looks like, I grabbed this report from a prior meeting. Because multiple speakers were present, the results aren't accurate, but it shows the kind of information that you'll receive. Some of the feedback includes a warning to slow down my speaking pace, and some positive feedback for not using words that are non-inclusive. In my later demonstration, I'll show you how to enable Speaker Coach for a single meeting. However, to enable Speaker Coach for all future meetings, you need to do so from a Speaker Coach Insight report like this one. In fact, you can see the toggle for this in the upper right-hand corner where it says automatically start Speaker Coach in meetings. On to participant management. This section is a bit smaller than the others, but there are some fun items in here. Together mode is an immersive and engaging meeting environment that allows you to combine meeting participants digitally into a single virtual scene. For example, you can have a virtual boardroom with each participant's avatar sitting in a seat at the table. The latest edition allows you to enable assigned seating and arrange your participants as you desire. Place the CEO up front and center, or send them to the back corner of the room. Your choice. Speaking of together mode, the all together or select together mode for everyone option lets you start together mode for all participants so that everyone is sharing the same scene. This ties in perfectly with assigned seating. Large meetings are great to get information out to a large group of people all at once, but if you want to provide participants an easy way to interact on a smaller scale, breakout rooms are the way to go. Previously, you had to assign participants to breakout rooms on the fly, but now you can pre-assign them to specific breakout rooms in advance. For participants who join after you've pre-assigned the rooms, you can still quickly add them to a room of choice. As I mentioned, large meetings are great, but you can have too much of a great thing. In this case, that's a limit of 300 meeting participants. Anything beyond that makes breakout rooms inaccessible. So a quick overview of the together mode. Assigned seating in together mode and together mode altogether go, well, together really well. To configure assigned seating, join a Teams meeting as the meeting organizer. Click on the view icon in the toolbar, then select together mode. When you first enable together mode, a window will pop up letting you select the scene of your choice and gives you the option to make this the together mode that all participants will see. If you're adjusting already assigned seating, simply select the view icon, then together mode, and finally change scene. Next, you can assign seats by dragging and dropping the invited participants to seats of your choosing. Click the assign button and you're all set. And now for ease of use changes. A minor but incredibly useful change is the ability to rename a file in a channel directly from the channel. To rename or delete a file in a channel, go to the channel's Files tab and select the three dots following the file name. The rename edits you make will be reflected in the team's corresponding SharePoint site. Pop out shared content lets you move shared content into a separate window while still keeping your eye on the meeting. You can give this a try now if you'd like. To do so, go to the top of our current meeting window and select Pop Out. The Teams calendar is now pop-out friendly as well. Whether you're scheduling a new meeting or looking at an existing one, you can now do so from a second window. This allows you to move about Teams without losing your place in the calendar. If opening an existing meeting, select Pop-Out Meeting Details in the top right corner of the app. When scheduling a new meeting, it will automatically open in a secondary window. While shared channels may not revolutionize the world, they will certainly do so for collaboration with people both outside your team or organization. Previously, if you needed to collaborate with an external entity, you would need to switch organizations in Teams. This impacted not only your availability, but your ability to communicate with your default organization until you switched back. Now with shared channels, channel owners can share a channel with teams they own and with people or teams inside or outside their organization. When using a shared channel with external users, it can now be accomplished without needing to switch organizations. For users inside an organization, the changes aren't quite as drastic, but still beneficial. Unlike standard and private channels, which have accessibility restricted to users who are members of a team, shared channels are specifically shared with a group of people regardless of their team permissions. One thing to keep in mind is that shared channels cannot be created from existing standard or private channels, or vice versa. Meeting IDs and passcodes are simple. Instead of needing the link to join a Teams meeting, you can join one directly by using the unique ID and passcode that exists for that meeting. Once you get someone to share those with you, that is. This is an easy way to quickly join a meeting that someone may have suggested you join, but that you weren't originally invited to. Sometimes I sign into a Teams meeting from more than one device, for example, my computer and mobile device. In the past, you had to sign out individually from each device to leave a meeting. Now, you can leave a meeting from all of your connected devices at once by selecting the down arrow next to the Leave button and choosing the option Leave on all my devices. Teams Premium is available now in preview mode and will formally launch in February of this year. When it launches later this quarter, Teams Premium will have an expected list price of $10 per user per month. While this is the expected price, Microsoft will have final pricing for this new license once it actually goes live. Some of the features that are in Teams Premium have been removed from standard Teams licenses and are now only available in Teams Premium. Some of these features are live translated captions, timeline markers in Teams meeting recordings that show when a user left or joined a meeting, custom together mode scenes, and the following virtual appointments features: SMS notifications, the virtual appointments usage report and advanced virtual appointments activity reports, and scheduled queue view. Please note that not all of the virtual appointments features are moving to Teams Premium, but simply a subset of the features. If you're not familiar with virtual appointments, they are virtual appointments created using the Bookings app in Teams. One of the nice things about virtual appointments is that they can be conducted without Teams running on a participant's devices and run typically through their web browser. Additional features of Teams Premium include branding, which allows for custom logos, backgrounds, and themes. These customizations allow your specific brand and identity to shine through during meetings. Meeting templates allow you to pre-configure meeting options, which can be selected when you create your meeting. For meetings with sensitive information, you could create a template that restricts who can bypass the lobby to just people in your organization, limits the presenter to yourself and co-organizers, and disables the participants' microphones. These predefined templates keep you from needing to recreate these settings for each new meeting and trying to remember how similar meetings were configured in the past. For webinars, the host and event management controls adds a number of new features. Registration waitlists allow additional users to sign up for a webinar and be automatically added to a waitlist. As spots open up, these registrants are automatically added to a pendings approval list for manual review and approval. Automated emails can be sent to confirm registrants ahead of the event. These automated emails can contain a custom branded header, the details of the webinar, and a link to join the event. The virtual green room allows you to connect with other hosts and presenters prior to the event going live. This virtual room is a dedicated space separate from attendees to allow for chat and management before the webinar starts. AI is used elsewhere in Teams, specifically in the speaker coach I spoke of earlier, but the power of AI really shows in the following features, starting with Intelligent Recap. Intelligent Recap works for meetings you attend and those you miss to give you an overview of the meeting. It uses AI to suggest action items, creates smart recordings with automatically generated chapters, and provides insights such as when your name was mentioned, or when a screen was shared, or when you left a meeting early. These help you discover important moments to catch up on. Search has gotten smarter by suggesting speakers personalized by the people you work with most often. This allows you to quickly search through the transcripts of people you might most be interested in. One of the features moved over from regular Teams is live translation for captions. Don't confuse this with standard live captions, which will continue to live on in standard Teams. Live translation for captions delivers AI-powered, real-time translations from 40 spoken languages, so meeting participants can read captions in their own language. Unfortunately, the Microsoft demo environment I'm using today doesn't support Teams Premium at this time, so I won't be able to demonstrate any of these premium features, but I can demonstrate some of the items previously talked about. So without further ado, let's jump into the demo. So let's start off with how to pin a message in chat. We're going to use Adele here as our imaginary friend, and she is friends with our imaginary Alex. In this case, she works with Alex a lot, and when her chat window gets filled up here, sidebar, Alex tends to maybe float towards the bottom. So if we want to pin him to the top, we can just select the ellipses on the right, select pin, and now he is permanently up here at the top. Easy to access. If we want to get rid of him later on, we can just unpin him and he'll float back down. Chat filters are accessed by clicking this little down arrow right here. And you can simply type in the name of a person who you want to see, or you can actually select from the predefined meeting options, or I'm sorry, the filter options, unread chats, meetings, apps, even conversations that you've muted to see maybe something you need to unmute for later on. Something that I didn't mention earlier, but I really like that's been out for a little while feature-wise is the Control F. So if you've got a long chat session going on with someone, and of course we don't here in our virtual environment, but let's say you're trying to look for a conversation that you had with Alex and you can't remember what it is. Control F while you're selected on the person you're looking for will actually put their name into the search bar, and then you can type keywords in and it will actually bring up the messages that correspond to that particular search field. You can send the video clips in chat, like I mentioned. Our virtual environment does not support webcams, but if you look down here at the bottom where the send icon is at, there's a little grayed out video cam icon right here. When you select that, you'll get a little pop-up window with a record button that allows you to record your short video chat, which you can review afterwards. And then if you like it, go ahead and click send and it will be sent on to that user for them to look at. Scheduled chat messages are handled the way normal messages are, with a slight variation. So if we wanted to send a message to Alex for later on, hey, Alex, give help, please. And we know he's in a meeting now till 11 o'clock. We can right click on the send icon, make sure we're on our today's date, flip that over to the 24th, and click send at scheduled time. Then once more, click the send icon and we can see it shows up in here, ready to go at the time we have chosen. If you decide you need to change the time at a later point, you decide you want to go ahead and send it immediately, you can just edit that, click the time and either cancel it, change it, or delete the message entirely if you would like. The activity filter works much like the chat filter does. You've got your little down arrow right here. Click on it, you can type in something you're looking for, or you can choose from predetermined options, mentions, replies, reactions, missed calls, voicemail, and apps. I find this is handy for missed calls or even app mentions if somebody mentions me and I didn't realize it. You know, good to check every now and then. The new call history details. We've got a little temporary or a demo test call I did with Alex here earlier. You can see that the call lasted a whopping 49 seconds, so we probably just conferred on what we wanted for lunch and when we were going to do that. But gives us when that call happened, and this is great for if you need to make note of when something transpired or you're doing timekeeping. Super handy for knowing how long the call lasted. So we've got Adele here, our imaginary friend, joined to a meeting already. If we wanted to record and transcribe this meeting, we would actually go to More, Record and Transcribe, and hit Start Recording. And you'll notice we've got a pop-up box saying starting recording and transcription all at once. Now, again, this has to be turned on by your administrator for this to work, but once it does, it'll happen each time. If you decide you don't want transcription for a meeting, you can independently come in here, stop the transcription without changing the recording itself. Speaker Coach, which I mentioned earlier, is accessed from the More icon as well during a meeting. Here under Language and Speech, and you can turn on Speaker Coach. Now, Speaker Coach will, with the proper notification settings, show you in real time little pop-ups that say, slow down your pace, speed things up, little notifications like that, similar to what you saw in the Insights report. When you're done with the Speaker Coach, you can turn it off or just end the meeting, and you will get that Insight report in your activities section where it'll show up, and you can review it for later on. If somebody says, hey, you're in that meeting, I forgot, I didn't get the invite, or I can't find it in my email, can you send me the passcode, the ID and the passcode for it? If you click on More and Meeting Information, you'll note the meeting ID and passcode are right here. In addition, we go over to our calendar, we can look at information. It goes out in the meeting email invite as well as what's saved in your calendar. So I have Adele signed into this meeting from 2 different devices. And she was listening with one and watching the demonstration on another. So in this case, we want to go ahead and leave all of them at once. So instead of just hitting leave, which would leave the meeting from just this window, we hit the down arrow next to leave on all my devices, and now that meeting is gone. For pop-outs for Teams calendar items, we can come in here and select an existing one, and the pop-out icon is right up here next to close. Hit that, pops out, and we can toss it off to the side there and continue looking at other things on our calendar without losing track of this particular item. For new calendar items, they automatically pop out into their own window, just like that. To delete or rename files in a channel, let's go over to one of our channels here. And let's say we decide add slogans just isn't descriptive enough, so we're going to rename it. It would help if I actually click on the title and rename it. There we go. 2023, rename. It's updated here, automatically updated in SharePoint. No need to bounce out to SharePoint to make that change or try to remember to do it later on. By that same token, you can come in here and delete that file. Deletes it from SharePoint as well. Creating shared calendars, shared channels, handled here. Now, Adele is an owner of this retail team, so she has the ability to create new channels in here. We're going to add a channel. We're going to call this our test shared channel. For privacy, we'll select shared. I'm going to uncheck share this channel with everyone on the team because I don't want to do that. I can create it. And then I can start entering in people that I would like to assign now. Alex is a member of he's a marketing assistant. He's not a member of the retail team, but I want him to be able to access this channel. So I'm going to go ahead and select him, share that with him. I could type in the name of an external recipient, myself, for example. And add myself to this same channel and be able to access it without having to leave my organization's teams to do so. Super handy. Now, real quick, this is the admin interface for Teams, and some of you may have never seen this or not be familiar with it very much. But team policies, I just want to show you this real quick. This is where you can enable the ability for external users to join shared channels. This is typically turned off by default. It depends on your organization, but you need to talk that over with your admin to see if that's something that is applicable to you to have on, as well as the ability to create the shared channels in the first place. For the ability to turn on transcriptions during meetings, this feature here needs to be turned on for meeting policies. Note that there is a transcription option in voice calling as well as voicemail. They are turned on separately from this. So it's something that needs to be enabled specifically for meetings in order for that to be applicable. All right. So that's all of the demonstration information I have. I wish I could show you Teams Premium. There's a lot of things in there that are great coming out with that new license. But unfortunately, again, doesn't work in the demo environment just yet. So new features are released for Teams on a monthly basis, and it's exciting to see what Microsoft is coming up with next for Teams. They're constantly pumping out new ideas. A lot of the ideas are in preview ahead of time, so if it's something you want to check out, you can search for new Teams ideas. Microsoft's got a whole page dedicated to these features that are coming out or are currently in preview mode. If you're interested in Teams Premium, check out the comparison available on Microsoft's website that breaks down the difference in available options between the standard Teams license and Teams Premium. It's surprising the number of things that are different between the two. In addition, if you aren't already using Teams, please head over to Microsoft's download site where you'll find versions compatible with your system or device. That's all I have today, everyone. Thanks for your time and have a great day.